Why is that first layer on our canvas so important? Well, it's a twofold thing. First, I want to talk about the mindset because 99% of making art is our mindset, not talent, not skill level. Those things all come over time. And just in case you're wondering how I feel about talent, talent is 99% practice over time. When you practice consistently over time, all of a sudden people think you are talented. And you know the answer to that. It's just because you dedicated yourselves to really going deeper and working and learning that skill. That's all it is. So 99% of what we do as an artist is mindset. And that mindset is really important in putting down the first layer on a blank canvas. So many of us can get stuck just walking in here, looking at this blank canvas going, oh gosh, what am I gonna do? I wanted to paint so bad, but now I'm standing in front of this and I'm stuck. And if that's you, go back to one of my other videos that talks about being stuck and, more importantly, how to get unstuck. But let's just take a look from a practical level here. So one of the best things you could do is get an initial layer down on this surface. And the good news is it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to have your color palette all figured out. You don't have to know what you want to paint. You just got to get some paint down, because that's half the battle, is getting something down on this surface, and it triggers the mind to start thinking and going, oh, okay, I see what we're doing. I can start thinking and getting creative now. And that's all we want, is a little bit of a release. And so I don't put much thought into this. A lot of artists have different approaches, and they're all right, by the way. There's no wrong way to do this. You just got to find what works for you. Some will come in and they'll take markers and pastel pencils or anything, and they'll just mark it up. And that is a warm up for their body and their mind, their muscle memory, to get back into, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create. Some people will just come and put a layer of paint on. I mean, eventually we need to do that anyways, right? So there is no right or wrong way. I do both, depending on how I feel and what I feel I need that day. I'll do both. So let's slide on over. I'm going to show you what sort of layers I put on for these first few layers, because they're important and yet they're not. So let me explain. Let's take a look here. My little canvas practice panel, and over here, now I want you to notice something. So this is one of those palette pads, right? It's just it's like wax paper, and if you don't want to buy one of these, using wax paper is perfectly fine. My paint spills all over the edge here, so I have to really, but that's all it is, okay? And I will use these for a few days, because even though there's paint dry on here, it's still good. And we as artists, we have to be very cost conscious of things, and everything is expensive. It adds up. So if you can get a few days worth out of this, go right ahead. I will, for things like this, when there's not a lot of high value in keeping my colors clean just yet. So let's take a look. Now, all of these are just muddy colors that I have had, and I paint professionally, so I don't throw any of my paint away. And let me explain really quickly why I don't throw any of the paint away, because it's expensive. I buy professional artist grade paint. That means they're very highly pigmented. They have less fillers in them, and the quality is superb. So when I have leftover paint, which we all do, right? Because we can never get those measurements exact, I save it. Either at the end of the day, when I have all this paint just lying around on this surface here, I will either, depending on how much I have, Sometimes if I have a lot, I take an old container, I wash them out and save them, and I will put all of it in there, and it sort of makes a mud. And I use that the next day going into my series if I'm in the beginning stages of a series or still working in the thick of it. I save it and I mix it in with my colors the next day because it gives me that harmony and it keeps me in the palette. And if I don't have enough and it's on my canvas palette here, my palette paper, then I'll just grab a blank canvas and just get that initial layer on there. It's done. My mind can rest and I haven't wasted anything. So that's what we're going to do. And right here, I've got 3 colors that, you know, I just had, and they're really ugly because, I mean, this looks like a vomit orange, and they are beautiful colors, but if you don't know how to use them, they can look really ugly. And that was where I would get stuck initially. So I just wet my brush and I'm just gonna, you know, smear it all over. And you could see my brush is wet, so it's kind of going on thin. That's not really what I was wanting to do. I like to put the layers on thicker initially, but let me show you in the next one. So I'm gonna let that dry. Obviously, I'm gonna have to put more on there, but let's get another blank one and let me dry this a little bit so that I can show you. All right, and I'm gonna switch colors. And you can see this is much thicker now, right? I want that opacity versus here you can see clear through, right? So that's too much water. That's just not gonna work to build upon. So I'm gonna have to put a few more layers. And regardless, I do put 2 to 3 layers initially because I want that strong foundation, that strong base. And you just have to put a good amount on there. So you can see that you're looking at the brush strokes and not the actual canvas peeking through like it. You can't see it. So I generally prefer to use opaque paints, but I will, for those initial layers, but I will use transparent paint if that's what I have left over. I just know that it may not go in as deep and thoroughly as I want, but this is what I do. And so now I come back in the next day and this is all dried and my mind's a little more relieved and I can just go, okay, well, there's paint on there. It's a little messed up, so not that big of a deal. And let's just see what I could do with it. So it's a great way to start. And then eventually what happens is sometimes I have like 5 different colors, small amounts. So I'll just throw them on a canvas in no order in particular. And this is what I get, a mess. And believe it or not, when you come in and you start working on the mess here, your mind is relieved and it takes the pressure off and you can go, well, I certainly can't ruin this one. So let's see what I can do with it. Let me just hash out a few ideas, mess around. And when you take the pressure off like that, it is so much easier to drop into your intention because we still need to do that to get a painting that lets somebody feel something. But you can drop into that intention because it's already got something on it. It's different than looking at this blank canvas here going, ugh, what do I do? Can you feel the energy difference? That's the power of the first layer or layers. Is you come in and you look and you go, okay, well, there's a starting point. And if you want to come into that dry canvas and mess it up with your markers first, hey, that's great. It's warming up. It's getting all that nervous energy out of you. It allows your mind to relax, and then you can move on and create something with less pressure. So give that a try and let me know how it works for you.